Welcome back to another episode of Nick Tiffany's Movie Reviews, coming at you online in print format at nicktiffany.com, online in audio format anywhere you get your podcasts, and in video format on YouTube. Today, we're talking Expendables. That's what the poster says, at least. Expendables 4. You got to find a clever way after almost 10 years since the third movie, which is crazy on its own that, we're on a fourth Expendables. But to wait 10 years for the for the sequel, I'm like, you thought Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren and those guys were old then. Another decade's gone by. Sylvester's looking a little worse for wear when it comes to the action, but that's why you got Jason Statham. We lucked out. This is far more a Statham vehicle than anything. It's absurd. It's silly. I don't know if we necessarily needed it, but kind of like Statham in the Meg 2, I was like, hey, you know what? This is like an hour and a half of this man hitmanning people. He's just taking people out, knives, fist fights, sniper elite type stuff. I was fairly satisfied as far as the action goes. It's directed by Scott Waugh, who directed Act of Valor, which was an awesome, awesome movie about the Navy SEALs, shot with some SEALs. The action in that film is definitely reflected here, just as far as some of the gunfire goes, some of those knife fighting sequences. He also directed Need for Speed with Aaron Paul. Kind of forgot about that movie, and then when Gran Turismo came out, I was like, oh yeah, they did a Need for Speed movie. That's right. I kind of forgot about it. It wasn't bad, but it was fine. So, we're here 10 years later. The guys are getting old. You're going out for one last job. There was the one that got away. And this time around, the film is pretty smart because rather than relying on Randy Couture, 50 Cent, these guys are fine in the movie. Megan Fox, who comes along, also fine in the movie. They rest a lot of stuff on Tony Jaa and Iko Uwai's shoulders. These guys are two of the best martial arts freaking action experts in the world. You've got Iko Uwai, who was in the Raid movies, the Raid Redemption, just unbelievable knife fighting. Watching this guy work is truly a thing of beauty. He's fighting Statham with knives, and you're like, okay, this feels pretty even-keeled. And then he busts out some, 8-punch combo while he kicks you, and it's like, taking things to a whole new level. And Tony Jaa is just fantastic in the Ong Bak movies. Here, he's kind of playing coy. He's like, oh, I was once a great fighter, but I had to step back before it consumed me. And you kind of hoped that at one point he might pop up and show you what he's known for. And rest assured, he does. So there's really, really awesome knife fighting, kung fu, martial arts moments. Both of these guys employing all of their techniques and their stunt work. Looks awesome. Statham's really kind of the only one who's keeping up with them as far as, fighting and combat goes. But regardless, I didn't have the highest expectations going into this movie. Neither should you. It's like a nice mid-$100 million budget. Part of me was feeling like maybe the volume needs to be loaned out to other studios and Disney can have competition kind of start filming on some other sets. Because, there's more than a few moments in this film where you're like, okay, this is clearly a set or this is clearly green screen back here. Do they care? Maybe not. Did I really care? No. I noticed it. But then as soon as someone got their head blown off or, is pushed their face into some razor blade, something crazy where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're like, all right, I can forgive a little bit of the CGI issues. You've also got Sylvester Stallone's got to be 80 something now. You're gonna come around and he's got to get his ring. He's big and bad. And, he's just kind of doing the Sylvester Stallone shtick. I remember when I watched the trailer for this movie, forget what movie I was seeing in the theaters, but the trailer starts with Jason Statham and Megan Fox. Clearly they're lovers, you think at first, and then you're like, oh, they're kind of, they're talking sexy, but they're also talking business because they're both some sort of secret spy professional. So they start getting into it. It's hot and heavy. They're throwing each other around, fighting, but also up close. And I was like, whoa, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was like the first thing I thought. And I was like, all right, Jason Statham and Megan Fox, interesting pairing, but I'm like, this is working already. I'm here for it. And then out of nowhere in the trailer, Sylvester Stallone pops up and he's like, hey, it's time to be an expendable again, you know? And you're like, oh, come on, man. I'm like, give me that. And I know Donald Glover's working on a Mr. and Mrs. Smith television show, I think. But I kind of, I'm glad that they really didn't try to force Stallone in this story more than they needed to. I mean, very smartly, they just kind of focus on Statham, who, God, I mean, he looks like he hasn't aged, though. And maybe that's just been for like the last 20 years since the Transporter movies. He is just so enjoyable to watch. He's probably one of the only guys who can pull off that nice, like, Green Beret style cap or just a nice English cap, wearing his nice cardigans around. He's just a well-dressed dude. He kicks ass. He's funny. He's got the gush little voice, It's just, it's a good time. Again, I didn't expect this movie to win Oscars. I didn't go into this expecting for the greatest story and plot in an Expendables movie. I knew I was going to get in for some ridiculous action, probably some silly old man jokes, which there's tons of, a lot of ribbon between guys, and check out the young guys, they don't know. It's fine. It's fun. You'd probably enjoy it more if you watched it at home. I don't think you necessarily need to go out and see it in the theater. Probably, the effects would probably look a little bit better or maybe more forgiving at home as well. So if I were you or me, I'd just wait. It was fun, but I don't know if we're going to get an Expendables 5. And I'm okay with that. Just stick with what works. Take Jason Statham and put him in anything. Andy Garcia's in this movie. Then it was like, okay, he's going to play lead operations boss man number 1. And I mean, he plays it fine. It was just kind of like a wow. I mean, these movies are always, who else can we throw in here? I don't want to totally liken them to the Fast and Furious, but each film, it's like, all right, you started with Jet Li. You had Arnold in the first couple of movies as well. They threw a Hemsworth in there. The film keeps a couple core people, and then it's like, all right, who's fresh? So 50 Cent, Megan Fox, they're like, we need some new middle younger blood. And again, I mean, it was fine. The knife fighting, truly though, like that's what I was here for. That and all the secret sniping, stealth mission stuff, that was right up my alley. So if that's your bag, I'm sure you'd have a pretty good time with this movie. Otherwise, if you're also like me scratching your head why there's an Expendable 4, you're not totally missing out. I know this is a short one, but it didn't need to be any longer than it is. Short and sweet. Statham's the point. Enjoy it if you'd like. Thanks again for listening, you guys. As always, tune in to NT Movie Reviews on all social media networks, podcast platforms, and on YouTube for all your latest on movie news and reviews. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time.